My name is Rachel Tiven. I'm the Executive Director of Immigration Equality and the Immigration Equality Action Fund. And Immigration Equality is a national organization fighting for equal immigration rights for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and HIV-positive immigrants and their family. Today was a terrific press conference. We had 5 members of Congress, Congressman Nadler, Congressman Honda, Congressman Polis, Congressman Gutierrez, Congressman Quigley, and what they were saying was that the inclusion of LGBT families in immigration reform is a mainstream part of the comprehensive immigration reform that we need to see in this country. That we need reform that respects family relationships, that treats all families equally, that brings people into the system, out of the shadows, that enables people to have full, safe, secure lives in the United States, and that all of that needs to include everybody's family. That you can't pass immigration reform that says we're for families, oh, but not your family. It's really been a gradual process over a 10-year period. The bill that Congressman Nadler introduced in 2000 was called the Uniting American Families Act. Actually had an earlier name, but is now called the Uniting American Families Act. And he reintroduced that bill in every Congress. And in the past year and a half, it has really gained tremendous traction within the immigration reform movement, to the point that it is really now seen as it should be, which is a mainstream part of immigration reform. And I think that Congressman Gutierrez, who is a key leader on immigration reform, along with Congressman Honda, really stepping forward today to say that I believe that this has to be part of comprehensive immigration reform, that it's not comprehensive without LGBT families, is really, really tremendous. I think what's really notable is that we have moved from a place of thinking, will immigration reform include LGBT families, to seeing that immigration reform clearly will include LGBT families. What needs to happen now is that LGBT people need to demand immigration reform. The LGBT community that has not always understood the role that they play in comprehensive immigration reform needs to step up and say that immigration is a gay issue and that we are committed to immigration reform for everyone because we have a stake in it personally, and because as people who care about rights and care about equal treatment in this country, we are committed. I mean, I think one thing that's extremely notable is that polling LGBT people on the Arizona law, LGBT people were 60% opposed to the Arizona bill. That was the opposite of straight people. I mean, I think what we're seeing is huge. I mean, the biggest LGBT organizations all came out very strongly in opposition to Arizona. I think I was not surprised by that, but I was pleased to see it. I think that the LGBT mainstream is clearly in support of immigration. What needs to change is that we need the LGBT groups to be more active and more vocal. I think their people are in the right place in their beliefs. They just need to speak up. I think it demonstrates that people who have experienced unequal treatment and who experience discrimination understand that there is no line between different kinds of discrimination, and that we are all in this together, and that if you believe that the Constitution protects every person in this country, which is what it says in the 14th Amendment, then you have to work hard to see that through. I mean, I think what LGBT families are asking is to be held to the same standard, right? I mean, it's when people call immigration equality and say, oh, can I marry somebody for a green card, we explain to them that marriage fraud is a very serious crime. You'll be deported, the American can be fined and jailed, and we support the same punishments for gay couples that currently apply to straight couples, because the people who call immigration equality are not fake. The people I talk to every day are people who've been together 20 years, 30 years. They own a house together, they have kids. All they want to do is prove how real their relationship is. And all they're asking is for the opportunity to prove how real the relationship is and to be treated equally. So I think that what we believe is that giving legitimate families the opportunity to be treated the same will cut down on any fraud that might be happening for those people, and and ultimately a fair system, right? I mean, why do people overstay their visa? Why do people walk across the border and enter without inspection? Because there's no decent system that allows people to keep their family together and to work hard and pay their taxes and be treated fairly. We need a system that will enable everybody to participate and to be treated the same, and when we have that system, we'll have less fraud. I mean, and I think what we see among our asylum seeker population is it's absolute. I mean, in Latin America, much more than in any of our other asylum sending regions, it's totally about class. We have immigration equality here is from almost 2,000 people every year, and about a third of those people are seeking asylum in the United States. They're fleeing countries where it's not safe for them to be LGBT. About 40% of our asylum seekers are from Latin America, and that has been the case for many years. So we represent directly in court people who are fleeing Honduras, Peru, Venezuela, Colombia. Still, we have cases from Mexico, fewer than we used to, but we still have cases from Mexico and from Brazil, from people who are fleeing horrible, horrible violence from in some cases their families, oftentimes from the police, and that continues to be a huge issue. Some of our asylum seekers are undocumented when they begin the process. Some of them are in status, but are trying to find a way that they can stay. I mean, I think the kind of, seeing the kind of support that we have today and seeing the support on the Senate side, where it's part of the blueprint, it's part of the proposal that the Democratic senators put forward, it's part of the mainstream. We have succeeded in making this a piece of the mainstream immigration debate. Now what we need to do is pass immigration reform. I mean, the irony is we've moved from a place of thinking, well, immigration reform is going to move forward. I mean, 2 years ago, I would have told you that immigration reform is moving, and the question is, are we going to be in it? Today, we're in it, but the question is it going to move? And that's where the LGBT community has a new role as a piece of the immigration universe that needs to push for immigration reform and push for immigration reform now. And I think that there is the potential for the LGBT community to be extremely powerful in this, because this is about families. This is about family unification, and I think that people saw how after Prop 8, the LGBT community, which had been asleep, the mainstream, middle class, white community that had been totally asleep, that didn't think that they had any issues, that didn't think that they had any problems, when rights were taken away, they woke up and they were pissed, and they said, you can't rip apart gay families, and they are poised to be a force in immigration reform, and our job collectively is to mobilize that. Visit immigrationequalityactionfund.org, and on that website you can read our blog and see all the action tools and sign up to contact your congressperson. And there's also legal information on there, lots of legal information for asylum seekers, for binational couples, and for also an enormous amount of information about the end of the HIV immigration and travel ban and how that affects people who are here and people who are out of the country if you or a family member is HIV positive. So please visit Immigration Equality Action Fund and immigrationequality.org.